You know what Sasha is doing? This will never work. He will have never success with it, and he will never earn any money with that. And to be honest, I think he's just too lazy to work. He's just too lazy to get a real job. In my opinion, with this Encino stuff, Sasha is throwing away his whole life. These were the words the best friend of our family, who I grew up with, who I admired, said about me behind my back to my family. How would you feel if this would happen to you? Maybe you would feel perfect, but maybe you would feel a little bit disappointed. You would feel a little bit angry, or maybe you would feel a little bit insecure, like I did a lot. Because when he said these things, I haven't been successful with Encino yet. Indeed, I haven't been successful with anything in my life yet. And I didn't have the self-belief and the confidence that I can truly become successful with this business here. So I was thinking, maybe he's right. Maybe I'm just not good enough for this business. And maybe I will never be successful here. I should just get a real job and leave my dreams alone. I can also understand that he said these things, because I said the best friend of our family, so he also knew about my great school career, which on average looked like that. And to give you a short context, in Austria, we have 5 grades, and 5 is the worst that you can get. So yes, I was always one of the worst students and one of the most unmotivated ones. So I could understand that he didn't believe in me, my teachers didn't believe in me, and also that I did not believe in me. Now you maybe think, yeah, but Sasha, here in this room, everybody knows grades are no indicator if you can become successful in your own business. And I totally agree. So maybe back then I was very good looking, very confident, and had all the talents needed for building my own business. Decide for yourself. This is a picture, a hidden picture of my 16-year-old self. This was quite a normal day for me, sitting behind the laptop with the pajama, headset on, beer in the hand, because back then I was completely addicted to playing video games. Yes, I always wanted to become successful and I had big dreams. But even more, I had doubts, fears, and insecurities. So I was hiding from the real world behind the computer screen because there I could become successful. But I realized very early in my life that I only got 2 options in life. Either hiding from reality, staying addicted to video games, getting a 9-to-5, and seeing my life being lived, or going out of the comfort zone, trying to build my own online business, fighting for it as long as it takes to be able to live my life. Because I always wanted to be able to say at the end of the life, my life hasn't been lived, but I have lived my life. So I was very committed for option 2. And between the age of 16 to 21, I tried 6 different online businesses. And I failed with every single one of them. So Encino was number 7. And a few people think that Encino for me took off like a rocket. So let's have a look at the first 4 months. And yes, indeed, month number 4 was a new all-time high of 18 balance credits. So my fears, my doubts, my insecurities, they were higher than ever before. And a lot of people asked me the last few months, hey Sasha, how did you get from this to ground 30 months later and black ground 2.5 years later? How is it even possible? And I was thinking a lot about it, reflecting a lot. Then I figured out that when we implemented 3 Ps, that our business really transformed. So I want to give you these 3 Ps so you can implement them from tomorrow onwards to see your business transforming over the next months. And regarding the first P, we all know that personal development is pretty important, right? Okay, but just imagine following situation. You need a heart surgery, you already lie in the hospital room, you see the white walls, hear the hospital noises, you can feel the tension in your body building up. And just 5 minutes before the surgery, the doctor comes in and he tells you, Mr., Mrs., I never learned how to do heart surgery. I've never done it and I have no clue how to do it, but I'm pretty big in personal development. I read a lot of books on positive thinking, so I'm quite sure we will figure it out. I hope you would run out of this room as fast as possible, right? So yes, personal development is important, but even more important is the first P called professional development, that you learn the specific skills required for your profession. And I got some great news for you. Because in Encino, there are just 5 skills. Making contacts, inviting, presenting, following up and closing, and onboarding. And when I think about the skills Mike and me had when we started, some great memories. I can remember when I was doing presentations, people either left the Zoom room, although I still think the Wi-Fi didn't work, or they nearly fell asleep. Indeed, in my 5th month, I did 80 presentations in one single month, and 2 people started, 1 quit the next day after it. So yes, my presentations were bad, but Mike, who seems like Mr. Unstoppable today, I had the pleasure of seeing him the first days working with him. So when I got a prospect on the follow-up, and I was so excited, a prospect on the follow-up, I got my competent sponsor on the Zoom. What did Mike do? He started fighting and discussing with the prospect as long as the prospect left the Zoom room. So our skills back then, they looked like this. But we implemented one formula, which is called skill development equals volume times feedback. So we did a lot of repetition, 10, 12, 15 calls every single day, 6 days a week. And we got feedback for each other, but also, okay, what did I do good? What can I improve the next time? And very soon we saw our skills leveling up what we really needed for this business. So if I work on a professional development, you also need to set some goals, right? Goal setting is pretty important. But most people make one major mistake when setting goals. They only set result goals. How many balanced credits I want to have at the end of the month? Or I want to run a marathon in under 4 hours. But you don't even know at which speed you have to run every single kilometer to get to this goal. So instead of only setting result goals, also implement process goals that show you how to get to a result goal. And this could look as simple as this, that you set a goal, how many contacts, invitations, and IPAs, or call it presentations, you want to make every single week. And then you just follow on achieving these weekly goals, and you will see your business growing. Because then you really have control over your own business and your results. And when you work on your professional development, when you install the process goals, then the 3rd P is really key. The key to make this business work and to get it off the ground. And the 3rd P is called push it. Let me give you a quote for this. Be out of balance on purpose for a certain time period to change your life. Sorry, to change your whole life forever. So I get the idea of being in balance, of having a balanced life. But when you're balanced, you're neither great here, nor great there. You're just average. And everybody knows that average doesn't build a successful business. So commit to be out of balance, only focusing on the business for example, 90 days a year during the 90-day run, or maybe 1 year, or maybe even like Michael and me did for 3 years in a row, being in Zanzibar together, doing Zoom calls the whole Saturday, and at 10 p.m. at night when everyone is going partying, sitting there learning new things and improving our systems, tools, and infrastructure to make our business really work. So as we heard from Hilde, only showing up is not enough. Work on a professional development, install the process goals, and commit to push it for a certain time period. And if you implement these 3 Ps, I'm pretty sure that your business and back office over the next months can develop like this. And that next year, at the annual event, you will have your big recognition for your double, triple, maybe even quadruple rank up, like I had last year at the annual event after hitting Black Crown after 2.5 years. And when I think about the annual event last year, I have to think about another thing that changed my whole life just 2 days after it. It was the Tuesday after the annual event. I was visiting my grandma in her house before I left to Cyprus. I was standing in the living room and she was entering the door. And in the blink of an eye, I could feel that the whole energy in this room changed. So she looked at me, I looked at her, and then she told me, Sasha, Karl died last night. Karl was the best friend of our family who said these things about me. And I was shocked, I was surprised. Just 6 weeks earlier, I was on his birthday party. 64 years, perfect health. Somehow he got to the hospital with stomach pain. They couldn't help him, and he died in the hospital after 2 weeks. And we had a pretty good relationship until the end. And I wish that I could have asked him one last question, which would have been, Karl, now, laying on your deathbed, knowing that your time has come to an end, do you think that you lived your life or that your life has been lived as a factory worker for 40 years? And we never talked about the things he said about me or Sensino. So I was thinking about these things he said a few years ago. And when I thought about it, I wasn't disappointed anymore. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't insecure anymore. I was inspired. Inspired because I realized that life is too short to live it for someone else. Life is too short not to live it on your own terms. And life is too short not to fight for this life that you really desire. And most people out there, just like him, they don't mean it in a bad way. They just don't have the awareness that nowadays it is possible to build an own online business. Nowadays it is possible to build a passive income. Nowadays it is possible to really create the dream life that you really desire. And it's on us that we inspire them and give them the awareness that nowadays we have these possibilities in our life. But you, and I want to talk specifically to you because you got this awareness. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in this room. You made the commitment. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here at the event. And yes, maybe you have the same insecurities, doubts, and fears that I had. Maybe you also had a bad start, like I had. Or maybe your business had been stagnating over the last months. But you know that you only got 2 options in life, my friend. You only got 2 options. Staying in the 9 to 5, seeing your life being lived, or trying as long as it takes, so at the end of the life, you will be able to say, yes, I lived my life. And deep down in your heart, you can feel that you got the potential to build a successful business here. You got this option of taking one more shot, one more contact, one more invitation, one more presentation. And if you do this and implement these 3 Ps, I'm pretty sure it won't take long until I'll be sitting in the audience, watching you on the stage, sharing your story, providing value for thousands of other people, and inspire also them to change their life, because we all know life is too short and too worthwhile not to.